Are you going to help? Hi there. Welcome to HearHerHands, a knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer, and I'm a knitter, crocheter, quilter, and sewist located in Baltimore, Maryland with my partner, my 3 miniature schnauzers, and 2 black cats, like this one. Hey, bud. Hi. Yes, we're noisy. Yeah, hi. So, today on my podcast, we're going to do an episode of Fix It, Frog It, or Finish It, where I'm going to talk about this pile of whips that I have. Some are completed objects, some that may need some work to fit more comfortably or more to my liking. There are some blankets that were paused over the summer and either need to be finished or frogged or refashioned. And don't make me, dude. And also, what's the other one? No. No claws in my knits, dude. And, oh yeah, also, I was inspired by Allie Makes Everything when she was talking about her Fix It Fall knit along on her podcast this weekend. And that inspired me to pull out these things that I would love to be able to wear that just need some sort of minor fixes. One of these is more minor than the other one, but we'll talk about those when our buddy here is done getting comfortable. Are you gonna sit? Are you gonna sit? Can you sit, please? Ow! You sit down? Ouch! Dude, you have claws. I'd have just licking. Yeah, hi. Come here. Hi. So, to start off, we will start with we'll go most recently finished to, I guess, hibernated. So my most recently finished object that I've talked about previously on the podcast is my Beachside mock cable cardigan by Lillian Knits. No, it's by Lillian. Sorry, Lillian. Or Lillian Olson. This is a really lovely all-over mock cable and lace cardigan that I knitted in Patons Classic wool worsted in the color Seafoam, which is how I got gauge on this on a 6mm needle or US size 10, and I knit the size 2. So this cardigan, first of all, this is my first time knitting a bottom up cardigan. I've knit one other bottom up thing, which is the other thing I'm going to talk about, but I prefer my cardigans like just below my waist, and I added 2 extra lace repeats, hoping that would be long enough for it to cover my behind. And it was not. But I didn't know that until I was done. So I have a couple options for fixing this, but I think for right now, what I'm going to do is the other main issue I'm having. And I talked about this as well. So if you look at my button band, see how it's like curving? So this is definitely a me problem. I went up a half a needle size as was recommended in the pattern, and that, I guess, was too much. I don't know. And possibly I didn't pick up enough stitches, but I picked up the required number of stitches as the pattern described. So what I am going to do to start off for my Fix It fall plans is I am going to frog, I guess. I'm going to take the whole button band out, and I am going to go up at least another half of a needle size, and also pick up more stitches, probably every stitch. And then I will reknit the button band, and hopefully between that and like only doing 2 stitch buttonholes, hopefully I will fix this curve that's going on and it will be more wearable. But that is my first fix it plan. So this lovely cardigan is a test knit for Knits by Lillian, and I believe it's coming out possibly next month. Don't quote me on that. I will link to my pattern, my project page on Ravelry, and I will also be sure to share when this does go live. But it is a lovely pattern. I really like it and highly recommend it, and it's very much goes along with the current style of lots of people are knitting cardigans. So between the current cardigan style and then the cabling style, if you're afraid of cables, these are definitely easier. I find cables fine, but I think this is a really lovely lace pattern, and I love lace, and I highly recommend it just because it's such a fun thing to knit. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun, pretty, lacy cardigan to make for your holiday sweater, or for wearing over your nice dresses for holiday parties, I recommend this one, and I will let you know as soon as it's out to check out the pattern if you want to knit it. Okay, so my next fix it knit plan or project, there we go, is this. So this is the Tolsta tank by the Cardigan, and I have knit this in KnitPicks Cotlin in the color Surf. I knit a size 2, and I knit it on a 6mm needle or a US size 10. So this pattern I knitted, I added a low length, I did a folded hem, and for the armholes I did a scallop, crochet scalloped edge that I found on Very Pink Knits YouTube, and learned that off of a tutorial from Very Pink Knits. And I think it's beautiful. I also did a folded over collar in stockinette. So what I need to fix on this is the collar. All of my collars, this is the thing I do, it's way too tight. So I can get it over my head, but just barely. It's extremely uncomfortable, and it feels like it's choking me. So I think some of this is just the high neck pattern is not for me. So my fix-it plan for this is I am, unfortunately, going to frog the whole thing back to where you split for underarms, because I believe that's where you start changing the pattern to do something other than, what is this? This is the vest version. So I want to knit the vest version on the back again, but I want to do the V-neck or camisole version on the front, as inspired by AKA Nordlund Knits. She did her first version of this Tolsta tank, where she did the vest version on the back and the camisole on the front. And I think knitting a camisole will solve all of my neckline problems, because it's going to be very hard to get that V-neck so tight that I can't get over my head. So for my Tolsta tank, we are going to fix this, and to fix it, we're going to frog it at least back to the underarms. So this one is going to go kind of on the back burner for now, because it's winter. Like, literally, it dropped to 40 degrees today, and I pulled out all my winter clothes. So even in the best of circumstances, I won't be wearing that again until May, maybe, if I'm lucky, or if we go somewhere warm. So yeah, we're gonna fix it later. Next, we have my finish or frog projects, and I need your advice, my dear friends. So we're gonna start with this one. And this is these are all kind of from the same time period. So I started knitting this Entrelac blanket last year when we got our puppy. And at that time, like, I picked up this because I needed something that was really short repeats, that it was easy to pick up and put down a lot. And I mean, Entrelac does sort of fit the bill for that. Like, it's shorter repeats. It only takes a couple minutes to do each little piece, each little row, piece over row. So I started doing this Entrelac blanket. This. So this, I was doing it in the temperature blanket format, and I was using Lion brand Heartland yarns in various different colors to knit a day-by-day temperature blanket. And I only got 4 days in before I abandoned this project. So my question for you is, would you frog something like this? Would you, like, what's the word I want? Would you take back all the yarn because I'm knitting? I'm crocheting now, so I'm crocheting a temperature blanket instead, and I'm doing it in these hexes. So in theory, I'm still going to use this yarn for this project. However, I have this cool bit of Entrelac, and so my other thought is I could bind it off, and I'm not sure how I would do this, but somehow turn it into a pillowcase. Like, not a long one, like, I don't know, I'd have to cut it or something. So if you have ever done something like that, I would love your advice. Would you bind it off and, like, I don't know, cut it up and hand sew it into a pillowcase? Would you just frog the whole thing and take back the yarn for your other project? What would you do if you were me? Like, it's really lovely. It's really heavy. The other thing for me is, unless I turn it into a pillow, this side is going to bother me. Because I don't like having wrong side on a blanket. That's part of why I'm doing this crochet one, is because, like, I mean, maybe there's a wrong side, but on a crochet blanket, it's not as obvious. So, yeah, I need your advice. What would you do with my Entrelac temperature piece of a blanket? Because I don't know, but I like it. I may put it back in the box for a while and decide later. Easier project, I guess. So I have this. Goodness, where'd it go? So this is the, oh my gosh, it's the Tumbling blocks blank at Lapghan. So it's like a lap blanket, and I am knitting this in Lion brand. Feels like Butta, in the color yellow, obviously very bright. And I'm knitting this on a 6mm needle, I think. Yep. I'm knitting on a 6mm. I have a lot of 6mm right now. So, like, this is lovely. I really like this project. I just had hibernated it because it was too warm and, like, is at a strange point in the project. But I do think I like it. I'm not knitting it for myself. I would probably be gifting it, but the baby that I originally planned to gift it to is 6 months at this point. So, if you were me, would you continue working on this? Would you hibernate it? I don't know. What would you do? So this is really pretty. I think I might still want to work on it, but I would love to know what you would think, and I would love to know what you think about this pattern. All right, and then finally, I have giant. Oh no. Alright, well, giant thing right here is I am knitting Sari Nordlund's Poet Shawl in, I believe this is Premier Basic non-pilling acrylic in the color white. And so this was part of a felt knitting. Yeah, it was like a blanket knitting box pattern that you got like a block of the month, and I just never really did anything with it. And I like it. However, this is super heavy. Like honestly, this is too heavy for shawl. And on top of that, part of why I started knitting the shawl was originally I was doing the poet knit along or poetry knit along by Sari Nordlund last year, and I started knitting a poet pullover, and it's a beautiful lace pullover pattern, but I don't know, it's just the way the lace and the neckline working up was really confusing me, and I couldn't get the lace to look right, and clearly I was doing something wrong. So I thought maybe if I'm knitting it flat, I'll have less problems. So I started knitting the shawl, hoping that knitting the lace in the shawl would help me then transfer the process of knitting the lace into the pullover. But as you can see, I still haven't gotten to the lace, and the thing is huge. So my thought on this is not shawl material. So I'm at the very least I'm gonna frog this because first of all, I pulled it off. And second of all, this is clearly blanket yarn. So I'm thinking what I might do if I still want to knit the poet lace pattern, right? But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with just the lace, and I will knit like a smaller piece, maybe like a neck scarf or something, in a more neck scarf lace appropriate weight yarn. But this one is very definitely a frog knit. But so as far as I know, so shawls are like, they don't really come in sizes, do they? But I am knitting the shawl, or I was knitting the shawl in the Premier Basic on a, whatever. Where's my needle? 4.5 millimeter needle. So this may also just not be the right needle for the yarn. But like, it's nice. It feels really lovely. Like it would be a beautiful blanket. But yeah, this is gonna go bye-bye. So we're gonna go ahead and frog this one. Yeah, so those are my 5 projects that I'm planning to fix or finish or frog, or I don't know. If you were me, what would you do? How would you go about finishing, fixing, or frogging these projects? Also, for the button band, with the curving part of the button band, if you have any good tutorials or any good resources or advice for me with that, yeah, I'm really struggling. Like, I honestly don't know how I managed my other one, but my favorite boyfriend cardigan, I think maybe the main reason I fixed that, didn't have a problem with that, was it had me pick up every stitch, and this one is just done differently. So yeah, how would you fix that? Like, what do you do if your button band is like curving or like significantly shorter than the cardigan? Because we don't want that to happen. We want it to look nice and like lay flat and everything. So yeah, this one is gonna be frogged, and I think we will find a fun pattern for the Premier Basic yarn, probably a blanket pattern. So those are the main projects I'm thinking about today. So if you want to join me, what sort of projects are you thinking about working on for Finish It Fall? what sort of things might you have hibernated and need to look at finishing, or what sort of projects do you think have you decided you're not feeling right now and you want to go ahead and frog? I'd love to hear all about it. And also, I hope that in the meantime you enjoyed my little vlog or my little video. And yeah, I hope you got some knitting or crochet or whatever it is you're doing, quilting, done. And if you did, let me know what you're working on. I'd love to talk to you in the comments about what hot new craft is on your needle and what sort of things you advise as far as my projects go. And also, yeah, if you enjoyed yourself, please think about giving us a like or subscribe. Follow along until I upload again next time. Until then, my name is Jennifer. You can find me at HearHerHands most places, so here and Instagram. And I will have a website coming up soon as well that also will be under HearHerHands. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'd love to hear about everything you're doing as well, and hopefully I will see you here again soon. Until then, bye.